I'm Okay, good to go. I'll kick it to Senator Locke to kick us off, and then we'll kick it to Speaker Scott after that. And obviously, this is in response to the mailers we saw from some MAGA link groups on the no side of this effort that we're here today to talk about this. If you have a question, please throw your question in the chat, and then we'll address those after the fact. And then I'll unmute you to ask your question of either Speaker Scott or Senator Locke. So, Senator Locke, I'll kick it to you first.
Thank you, Dan. And as Dan mentioned, a MAGA link group opposing the referendum is sending mailers to Black voters specifically that misuse hurtful imagery from the civil rights movement and even invoke Jim Crow, weaponizing one of the most hurtful and darkful chapters in our history to scare people into voting no and help Republicans rig the 2026 midterm elections. We will not fall for this divide and conquer tactic. These mailers are deeply offensive and deceptive. This scheme is shameful. The same MAGA Republicans pushing rigged districting maps to tilt the 2026 midterms in states like Texas and Florida are now exploiting the history of racial discrimination in Virginia to manipulate voters. It's cynical and deeply disrespectful, as I said. It is also disingenuous that they call themselves democracy and justice when they seek to do the complete opposite. We need to stop Trump's power grab. This referendum is about stopping the MAGA agenda and making sure the 2026 midterms are decided by voters, not politicians manipulating our elections. By voting yes, Virginians have the power to stop Trump's power grab, strip MAGA Republicans' unfair advantage, and ensure that midterms are decided on a level playing field by the voters, not politicians. It is voters whose voices will be heard on this issue. This isn't politics as usual. It is an emergency for our democracy. That's why Republicans are stooping to this low tactic that they're using. This temporary emergency measure is a short term response to unprecedented national interference. This type of interference we saw on display in these deceptive mailers. We deserve better. Virginians deserve better. And we can deserve better if we vote yes on April 21st. I will now turn it over to Speaker Scott.
Thank you, Senator Locke. First, let me thank Senator Mamie Locke, who has been in this fight for a long time and has seen these type of tactics her entire life. Being from Mississippi, this is the kind of things that you would expect. So if you want to talk about real Jim Crow relics in this country, she has been fighting to dismantle one of the biggest ones we still have here in Virginia, felony disenfranchisement. I want to thank her for that fight, because for generations, that law has silenced the voices of thousands of Virginians as a direct descendant of Jim Crow, designed to keep Black people out of the ballot box. And so Senator Locke has worked tirelessly to change that. So it's always my honor to do anything with her. And I respect her so much for that fight. She's made it possible for people like me to have the voice that I have, having lost my rights myself. So to see these folks try to use this type of language to trick Black people is not only shameful, embarrassing for our state, but it's also very harmful to folks who've been impacted by the loss of the franchise of voting. Now, look, folks, when I see people sending mailers using images from the civil rights movement, brave men and women facing down the KKK, people who marched, who bled, who died for the right to vote, to try to trick Black voters in Virginia, I take that very personally. The civil rights movement is not a problem. And for them to do that and then to try to bring in another Black man after the fact to say that he was involved with it when we know for a fact that was not the case. They brought him in after the fact. The blood and sacrifice of those who fought for the right to vote belongs to all of us, and it will not be hijacked by anonymous, MAGA-aligned political operatives trying to deceive our communities. And let's be clear about what's really happening here. Donald Trump put us all in this position. Donald Trump and Republican legislatures across the country are trying to rig the midterm elections because they know their policies are so unpopular. No one in their right mind would continue to support them. When you go to the pump right now, today, we're seeing gas prices at all-time highs, grocery prices at all-time highs, inflation run amok. We're seeing families being devastated, not in the Commonwealth of Virginia, but across the country. And so we know they cannot run on their policies. So they have to try to rig these midterms. Virginia is doing a responsible response to what we are seeing. We want to hold power to account. They, MAGA Republicans, on behalf of Donald Trump, they want to hold on to power and avoid accountability. If you listen closely, you've not heard one Virginia Republican come out. Not one elected Virginia Republican. I saw Glenn Youngkin come out and speak. Like he did not, when he was telling us what to do, he never told Donald Trump to stop it. He never told Donald Trump to stop rigging the elections in Texas, in Missouri, in North Carolina, and now in Florida coming up. So we have to push back. That's the punch that's being thrown, and Virginia is not going to sit there and take it. We're going to punch back. That's what this referendum does. It levels the playing field so that Virginians can protect fair representation at a moment when it is under direct threat. And when folks can't defend the truth, they start throwing anything against the wall and hope something sticks. And that's what they're doing right now. But here's the good news. Here's the good news. Virginians still have the power. You can go vote. We can vote in Texas, North Carolina, Missouri. The legislature did it with no accountability from the voters. Here in Virginia, the voters will have the final say. Virginians can vote yes to push back against Donald Trump's power grab. They can vote yes to push back against the chaos, the higher cost, the division, the wars, the illegal tariffs, and they can vote yes to level the playing field. And so I'm so excited about the opportunity that we have in Virginia. It's going to be Virginia to the rescue. Early voting is already underway right now, and election day is April 21st. So I just said, playing from now until April 21st, go vote and vote yes. And now I hand it back over to Dan Gottlieb.
Thank you, Speaker Scott. Appreciate it. All right, we'll open up for questions now. Appreciate y'all sticking with us. I'm going to open it up with Marcus Schmidt. I'll mute you, and you can ask your question.
Okay, thank you. Good morning. Waverly, Washington, a Republican and African candidate running in the 7th district, is behind a video that has been circulating online over the last week of several African Americans invoking the civil rights era and the redistricting referendum. So there's definitely some Black conservatives who feel that way. What is your message to them?
My specific message is that they are misguided and they don't understand their history. When John Lewis marched across that bridge, this past Sunday was the 61st anniversary of the March for Voting Rights in Selma, Alabama, when he crossed the Edmund Pettus Bridge and got beat to do so. For these folks to be trying to even come close to invoking that that's what's happening here in Virginia, what they should be doing is the opposite. They should be saying what Donald Trump is doing is trying to disenfranchise Black Virginians and Virginians in general all over by asking Texas, Missouri, Florida, and North Carolina to rig their midterm so he could find additional votes to keep his unpopular policies going. If you look at what they're doing now, these folks are not saying anything about innocent Americans being innocent, unarmed woman being killed, Renee Good being killed in Minneapolis because of Donald Trump's policies. They're not saying anything about Alex Preddy being murdered because of Donald Trump's policy. We know his policies are so bad that we will continue to have to push back against him, and he knows that. And so when I see some of those folks who may be misguided, that's on them. But I can tell you one thing: the majority of Black folks, we know who's with us. Every Republican in the House this past week voted to keep up the Confederate memorials here in Virginia. Every Republican last week voted to continue the Jim Crow era disenfranchisement on voting rights. We already know what their record is. So if they want to continue to try to mislead Black folks, we've been around long enough. We understand what's going on, and we won't be fooled by that. And I know this is not about black-white. This is about what's right and what's wrong. And we know that it's wrong for Donald Trump to be rigging these midterm elections. And so we're going to continue to fight, and we're going to let Virginia voters have the last word.
And
Thank you
these
so much.
individuals need to stop. And Speaker Scott used the word misguided. And other than just being misguided, they're being used by individuals for their purposes. I mean, as somebody who grew up under voter suppression and had to actually register under a voter suppression uh, guidelines. I mean, I had to register to vote under what was called dual registration when I first registered to vote in Mississippi. So I know what it's like. And for people to now come along and use those same tactics uh, is not only disingenuous, but also not just misguided, but stupid. If they think that people like me will go along with that kind of stupidity and take it, I mean, they're insane. And they need to go back and understand the definition of insanity.
Thank you, Senator Locke. Thank you, Speaker Scott. All right, we're going to kick it over to Tyler Englander.
Thanks, Dan. I appreciate it. I hate to ask an off-topic question, but it's an important issue nonetheless for Speaker Scott. Senator Lucas was talking about the data center tax exemption yesterday and said that the House is protecting or working for tax breaks for big corporations. Do you have a response to that?
I know we'll continue. I got so much love and respect for Senator Lucas. She has been here a long time. She's a mentor. And so if she says whatever she says while we're in this budget negotiation, it's politics. I think we'll get up working it out. I think Senator Lucas is the dean of the Portsmouth delegation where I am. And so I have a lot of respect for her. I don't think there will be, we got a lot more work to do other than just this. And so I think we are more aligned on 99+% issues. So I think we'll be fine. So this is just one of those things that we're going to work through in the budget. It always works out. I would not get so emotionally attached to any one of these issues. I think we have a lot of work to do, and I'm excited about what we're doing with the trifecta. I'm excited about the leadership of Senator Lucas and Senator Locke and even Senator Survey, So I think we have and obviously partnering with the governor. I just think we have some important issues ahead of us, and that's just one of many. So I would not get sidetracked by that one issue. I respect Senator Lucas so much, and I think we're going to be fine. Thank you.
All right, thanks, folks. And if you find Speaker Scott in the hallway, he's going to answer your question. So try and keep it on topic if you can, please. But I appreciate you guys. Thanks. All right, I'm going to kick it over to Mr. Khalil from BPM.
Good morning. Thanks for taking our questions. Mr. Speaker, you were talking about how you knew for a fact that the Delegate Cordoza got, I don't think you referenced him by name, but Delegate Cordoza was reportedly was the person that that it seemed like you were talking about getting brought in at the last minute. Can you tell us what you know about sort of like the TikTok of this? I know that the PAC that was sending these out was only registered, or at least the paperwork that I saw was only registered like 3 days before the mailer hit my mailbox. So I don't know just can you walk us through sort of what happened, just so we can get an idea of and maybe give the public an idea of how these things operate.
Well, I thank you. There's not things that I know, but there's things that because I can't prove it. I mean, but you can look at the facts, and kind of map it out. I mean, did you see the dumpster fire, that bus that caught on fire with Winsome City rolling down the street? That's what this campaign is for them so far. I want you to get that image in your mind. This is a dumpster fire for them. This is a rolling bus on fire. And they have been brought in folks like Mr. Fralin, who now says, oh, I had nothing to do with it. I gave him $10,000, but I thought I was giving it to this organization, but I was giving it to this organization. It's like they're playing a shell game. It's like whack-a-mole. And what happens is they filed this, created this organization so they could do these mailers disgustingly aimed at only one segment of the population, the people that they think are the most that they can manipulate with race, and they use it against Black people. Think about that. This attorney in Williamsburg, white guy, they get together and they come up with this plan to trick Black people. All right. And then once they're discovered and it's found out, the cover-up is what y'all should be investigating. Then they find out, and then Mr. Fralin's name becomes involved. He's given $10,000, a Youngkin supporter and a former board member of VCU and some others, and a former delegate, Republican, gets outed And he says, "Oh, no, 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 no. I don't want to do anything with race." Bruh, you already did. It went out. And so what they did was they went back and amended the documents that nobody could find in BPAP, and you have to disclose. They amended it, and then they added AC Cardoza to the documents. And so at the end of the day, we know what's going on. If y'all ever report all of the facts on this to show how this happened, the public will understand what happened. And I think that what they know, they've been caught with their hand in the cookie jar. And so at the end of the day, and they've been caught doing something despicable and disgusting. This is not good trouble. So those black folks that are or that may be using the civil rights, they're doing the opposite of what John Lewis said about getting in good trouble. They're doing the opposite. This is not good trouble. This is dumb trouble. And they got caught. Thank you for the question.
I'm gonna use dumb trouble going into the future. Thank you, Speaker Scott. I'm gonna unmute Cameron Thompson, and then this will be our last question, folks. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dan. Similar to Tyler, off topic, and in our defense, the speaker's person told us that this was the spot to get him today because they have so much to do on the floor. And sort of to that, Mr. Speaker, to the budget, I know there's still a lot of high-profile bills that are in conference unfinished as we were getting to the finish line here. Can you give us a sense of how the conversations are going on things like retail marijuana, some anti-ICE bills, paid sick leave, and just a sense of getting those across the finish line before session ends?
You know what? See, this is what y'all do. We got a whole powerful black woman on this call, Senator Mamie Locke. She knows as much about this stuff than I do, but y'all only ask me. I would just ask y'all to really do a little mirror check, because she can answer some of these questions as well. This is the same question. She's looking at these same bills. Say, hell, some of them are her bills. So you might want to ask her, where we are in this conversation if she's willing to disclose. But I think, y'all are short-sighting yourselves when y'all don't ask Senator Locke this question and just me, because Senator Locke is the caucus chair in the Senate. She's the chair of rules. She has a lot of insight on what's going on. She's a budget conferee. I'm not even a budget conferee, and y'all ask me about the budget. I don't even want to look at the budget. I'm just going to vote on what they tell me. And so she is a conferee. I would ask you to defer that question to Senator Locke. Senator Locke, if you'd like to answer it, I'm all ears.
I wasn't asked the questions, Mr. Speaker. But we are moving along as we normally do. We will collaborate collaboratively with each other, and we will work together, as Mr. Speaker indicated, as we sprint toward the deadline on Saturday, and we will get the work done.
Sounds like a good answer to me.
I think that's a great answer. All right. No shade to Elizabeth Byer. I'm not going to unmute another budget question. All right, folks. Really appreciate all of you. Thank you for joining. Be sure to chase Speaker Scott down the hallways if you want to ask him another question about the budget.
And the last thing I want to
chase Speaker Scott.
Can I ask one last thing, y'all? I hope y'all go out and find this cabal of former losers. AC Cardoza, the all-lose team, the all-lose Big Ten team, AC Cardoza, Jason Mieres, all of these folks that they keep bringing back. They like Frankenstein's monster. They won't go away. They keep coming back to life. Go find those folks and ask them how we got here. Because I really believe that we have, y'all are not catching this whole thing. This is outside money who don't want to be disclosed, that's coming in, hiding their hand. And I hope that you guys will bring it up. They're using the civil rights movement and the suffering that happened to get to where we are, to get the franchise vote, and they're using it as a prop. And we're not going to let them do it.
I think an even more important question would be, what if the tables were turned? What if the House was Republican-led and the Senate was Republican-led? Would they not be Texas? Would they not be Missouri? Would they not be Florida, doing what Florida did, what Texas did, what Missouri did? They have yet to answer that question in terms of mid-decade, redistricting. And the commission be damned. And when we said that to them, there was radio silence, because they know it was true.
I'm reading on the press conference when they say Donald Trump tell Texas to reverse what they've done. I'm waiting on that press conference. Let me know when it happens. I'll be there to cover it with y'all. All right. Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you, Speaker Scott. Thank you, Senator Locke. Thanks, folks.